the whispering shadows. Deep in the heart of a secluded village where dense woods pressed against the edge of the world lived the twins, Elara and Elias. They were born on a stormy winter night, the kind that seemed to seep into the bones of the townsfolk. The twins were unlike other children. Elias was mute, his voice stolen by some cruel twist of fate, and Elara was blind, her milky eyes forever staring into darkness. From the moment of their birth, the whispers began. "Bad omens," the villagers muttered, "the cursed children of the woods." Their parents, heartbroken but fiercely protective, did all they could to shield the twins from the growing hostility. But no amount of love could soften the sharp edges of the villagers' scorn. The shadows of childhood. The twins grew up in isolation, their only solace being each other. Elias learned to communicate with his sister through a series of taps and touches, a silent language that only they understood. Elara, in turn, described the world through her vivid imagination, painting vibrant pictures in Elias's mind with her words. But the villagers' cruelty was relentless. When the twins ventured into the town square, children threw stones, while adults turned their backs. On nights when the wind howled through the village, townsfolk claimed to hear eerie whispers from the woods. "It's the twins," they said. "They've brought a curse upon us." The tragedy unfolds. One fateful evening, the twins' parents were accused of witchcraft. "They must be the source of the evil," the villagers cried. In a frenzied mob, the hounds of the Toke stormed the family's cottage. The twins were hidden in a secret cellar, their mother pressing a trembling kiss to their foreheads before bolting the door. Through the floorboards, the twins heard the chaos above, the shouts, the breaking glass, the roar of flames. Then, silence. When the twins emerged, ash filled the air, and their home was nothing more than smoldering ruins. Their parents were gone, taken by the fire or the villagers' wrath. Alone and grief-stricken, the twins fled into the woods, their only refuge. The haunting begins. Days turned to weeks, and the twins learned to survive in the wilderness. But the woods were strange, filled with shadows that seemed to move on their own and whispers that echoed their pain. Elara began to dream of their parents, standing at the edge of a blackened meadow, their faces twisted in sorrow. Elias, too, began to see things, shapes that loomed in the corners of his vision, their forms dark and indistinct. The whispers in the village grew louder. Crops failed, livestock vanished, and the villagers began to speak of a haunting. They claimed to see two pale figures in the woods, their faces gaunt and eyes hollow. "It's the twins," they whispered. "They've become spirits of vengeance." The reckoning. One stormy night, much like the one on which the twins were born, the villagers gathered torches and marched into the woods. They were determined to end the curse once and for all. As they ventured deeper, the air grew heavy, and the whispers turned into anguished wails. Shadows writhed between the trees, and the villagers' torches flickered and died. Then, in the clearing where the twins had made their home, the villagers found them. Elara stood with her sightless eyes wide open, her hands clasped tightly in Elias's. He gazed at the mob with a sorrow so deep it seemed to pull the very light from the air. The villagers froze as the twins' silent language unfolded, a language of grief, pain, and betrayal. The ground beneath the villagers began to tremble, and the shadows of the woods surged forward. One by one, the villagers disappeared, their screams swallowed by the night. Eternal guardians. By dawn, the village was silent. The twins were never seen again, but the forest remained, dark and forbidding. Those who dared to venture close claimed to hear whispers on the wind, whispers of two children, forever bound to the shadows, protecting the woods from the cruelty of humanity. And so the cursed village was reclaimed by the forest, its sins buried beneath the roots of ancient trees. But the story of the twins lived on, a warning to those who would harm the innocent. For the shadows never forget, and the whispers never fade.